Well, guys, a few years ago, we had an article on the boats, ESU Yonkers Police Department boats, known as Marine One. We did not know why we purchased the boats. What purpose did they serve? We knew in theory what purpose they serve, but many of us didn't see the boats in the water. So we had an article say, where are the boats? Why did we buy the boats? Why did the Yonkers incur the expenses of buying an expensive boat? Well, today I'm in a boat. I'm going to go for a ride, and we're going to get the right information. So I'm going to go through. Let me go and board the boat. Captain Rooney is here. Sergeant Dean is here, and two other officers. And just to start, let me explain that the boat was not purchased with taxpayers' money. I'm talking about Yonkers. Let me board safely. There I am. As you guys see, I'm here at the dock in Yonkers Pier. So let me explain. The boat was not purchased with Yonkers taxpayers' money. The boat was bought with a grant right after 9/11 because of the terrorist attack that was. So they felt like for security purposes, okay, we needed a boat to patrol our river. Also to be used as a first responders, in case if somebody is in the water, the boat. So let me show you. Let me just quiet down so you guys can. Articles, we're not fully aware of certain information, protocol, how things really happen. So we go based on our opinions. Sometimes they might be correct, sometimes they might be erroneous. But today we're here and we're going to get the right information from those involved. So this is an ECU boat, belongs to the City of Yonkers, but was purchased with a grant that came to the city right after 9/11. That's it. We are out of here. Now we Captain Rooney on the left, Sergeant Dean on the right, and the captain right on the boat. I don't know his name. What's the name of the boat captain?
Anthony Scarmizo.
Anthony Scarmizo. Did I say it right? Gee, I'm getting better with my accent, guys. So let's see.
Joseph. No, why don't you come in and look around?
Can you have the manager of both range here over here? Number.
Well, for those who don't know who this gentleman is, he is Captain Rooney from the ECU. Captain, thank you for inviting us, for taking me. Tell us a little bit about this. What purpose does the boat serve? How did we acquire this boat? Tell us anything that comes to mind about this, so to inform the people of Yonkers about this.
Well, the boat was purchased in 2009 with a federal grant that they gave us for port security. It was a grant as part of the Urban Area Security Initiative package of grants that were developed in the wake of 9/11. The boat was manufactured in Port Orchard, Washington, across Puget Sound from Seattle. It's made by a company called Safe Boats. They manufacture boats for the Navy and the Coast Guard. They also built New York City's fireboat, the 343. I had the opportunity to sea trial this boat when it was first built in my former assignment. I actually got the factory trained in this out on Puget Sound when it was built. It's a 33-foot safe boat. It has twin 350 horsepower diesel or gas outboard motors, and it's our primary rescue and patrol vehicle on the Hudson River for the City of Yonkers.
Now, Captain, does this boat serve only Yonkers, or does it serve the surrounding cities that are close to the water?
Well, it's detailed to us here in the City of Yonkers, but as part of our Port Security Initiative agreement, we actually cover a patrol area from the George Washington Bridge to the GMC Bridge.
Now, about a year and a half ago, 2 years, we had an article in Yonkers Voice that people were complaining, where is the boat? We need it. I think there was an incident at the river. I believe it was a little cold still. And we couldn't see the boat. We did not know where the boat was. Is this boat supposed to be in water year-round?
Well, no, it's not in the water year-round. The boat doesn't have an ice-rated hull, so it has to be pulled as soon as there's any chance that there might be ice on the Hudson River. Typically, it's in from spring to fall, but at that time, for that particular incident, I think you're referring to, we had a catastrophic failure in one of the motors, and the boat was down for maintenance, unfortunately.
And when the boat is down for maintenance, or during normal maintenance, who absorbs those costs? Is the city, or it's under that grant that the boat was purchased?
The city absorbs the maintenance costs for the boat. The initial cost of the boat was under the grant, but the maintenance is now done by our Department of Public Works here in Yonkers. They do a great job maintaining it. It was just unfortunate timing last year, when it was down.
Now, what about the response time? If there is an emergency somewhere by the JFK Marina and the boat is by the pier, what is the response time from the time of the call to the time of the arrival of the boat in an area where it's needed?
There's a lot of factors that weigh into that. Obviously, we have a patrol function as well, so it depends on where we are on the river. If we're at the George Washington Bridge or up at the GMC Bridge, it's going to be a significantly longer period of time. From our response on a day where we have the Marine Unit working, and if they were in the area of the pier, top speed on the boat is 46 knots, so you can be at the JFK Pier in a matter of minutes.
Now, Captain, I have seen some of your training, the ice training by the park. What about here? How well are they trained? Are they trained to go under the water to look for any possible victims? How are your officers trained?
So our officers are trained by New York State in a marine law enforcement school that takes place. So all of our members of the unit, like Officer Scaramuzzo, that are assigned to the Marine detail permanently, have been to that school. All of the rest of the members of ESU all have water rescue training, so they can fill in on the boat as a rescuer, if not as an operator. As far as searching underneath the water, we don't have that capability. That would require a dive team to search beneath the surface of the water. And the Hudson River is not really a dive team friendly river. It's extremely turbid, which means that it has very, very low visibility. We had the state police's dive team down here a couple of weeks ago, and on those particular days, due to the conditions, they had zero visibility. You literally could not see your hand in front of your mask, so they had to do everything by feet.
Wow. Now, Captain, since the boat, for how long, the boat's been in water since 9/11, how many lives have you been able to save because of the boats?
Oh, I don't have that data, but it's there's a lot of lives that have been saved here, not only through our direct intervention, but through the safety patrols that we do. whether it be on the jet skis, pleasure boats, or the commercial traffic here in the Hudson. We do safety patrols, safety stops. We issue summonses for violation, just like a traffic unit would be doing on the land. In addition to that, we have a rescue function. We had a job last year, last summer, when we utilized the county boat when this boat was down in the maintenance period, where we had a gentleman on a jet ski, was going too fast, tried to jump the wake of what ended up being a rather large yacht. The jet ski went airborne, he injured himself, and we were lucky to be able to get out and get him with our partners from the county police and get him back and send him up to Westchester County Medical Center where his life was saved.
Now, Captain, you know that people of Yonkers, including myself, we want, but we don't know that for every one that we have, that we want, there is a tax increase association with it. If you want this, if we want that, the cost is going to be going back to the taxpayers. How much does it cost on a yearly basis to run Marine One?
I don't have that figure offhand. Obviously, the costs to run it are, there's many costs that go along with that. There's annual maintenance, there's catastrophic maintenance if something breaks, there's the cost of the personnel, there's the cost of the fuel. There's many costs that go along with the boat. I couldn't give you a figure off the top of my head as to what that costs.
How many boats does Yonkers have?
The police department, this is our primary vessel. The fire department also has a vessel as well that's in the water now. We have 2 Wave Runner style rescue vehicles. I believe the fire department has 2 as well. And we have 2 rigid hull inflatable Zodiac type boats that are smaller that can be used both on the Hudson River as well as the other waterways in the city. Those can be trailered or carried into place if need be.
So how many officers altogether are specialized for marine operations? More or less.
7. We have 7 trained crew right now. We're hoping to increase that next year with sending people to schools and things of that general nature. But right now we have 7 trained crew.
Well, I'm going to ask a stupid question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. I would assume that the operations, it's always during the daytime. Nighttime, there is no marine rescue or anything, right? After sundown? Or am I wrong?
Oh, no. This boat can operate at night. We have a forward-looking infrared system. It has high-powered spotlights on it. It has emergency warning lights to let other boat traffic know that we're out here. So no, this boat is available and able to operate 24 hours a day.
Well, guys, you heard it from Captain Rooney. Good information. So now we know what's involved about running the boat. We know the costs that it's involved running the boats. We know that Yonkers actually did not purchase the boat, was through a grant. We pay for the maintenance, but that's okay. Those are the things that the city has an obligation to give to the taxpayers. But good information and correct information is important. Thank you, Captain.
Thank you.
Can I film that?
Can you what?
Film.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. If you have any questions, ask.
Okay.
Here, Ben, why don't you sit here?
Yeah. Thank you.
And sit there and put your feet up on there.
So, officer,
Yes,
can you speak as you ride this thing?
I can, yes.
So for how long you been on it, on this job?
I've been trained through the New York State Parks Department for 3 years. I've been in the Marine Unit for approximately 6 years, and I've been in the City of Yonkers for 11 years.
So if you had an option, stay on the Marine or go back to patrol, where would you prefer to patrol?
Oh, if I had the option, I would take the Marine Unit, full time.
So no questions, just like that, you give me an answer?
Just like that. No, it's wonderful being out on the boat. It's nice in my position where I get to have a little bit of both. I get to be out on the boat and help people on this end. But working hands-on on patrol with the citizens of the City of Yonkers, that's the benefit of the job.
Now, when an emergency happens and adrenaline begins to kick in,
Yes.
how you maintain your calm?
I don't know. You just through training. You revert back to your training. You play over what the call is in your head, and you just go there with the training that you have in your toolbox, and you try to do the best you can. And that kind of keeps you calm throughout the situation.
Now let's just take this out of the boat. I have a lot of questions when police responds to a scene and there is something going on and we see a whole bunch of police officers in a corner somewhere just standing. I personally know they're not just standing to chit-chat. You guys all have a mission and you have what you're supposed to do. Just give me a little information on that so people understand that because you're standing does not mean that you're just relaxing. You're waiting to react when the time is ready.
So I don't want to interrupt you because I know you got to drive the boat. So in situations like that, lots of times we have to stand by for information in order to continue an investigation, or sometimes we have to stand by for additional resources. Not everything happens as quick as we would like it to happen or as people expect it to happen. Unfortunately, the real world of police work is a lot different from what people are used to seeing on television or seeing how it plays out in the news. Oftentimes it takes a very long time in order for us to get the information for us to act. Certain situations, like for example, when we have persons who are refusing to come out of a home, where they may have even barricaded themselves, those type of incidents may drag on for 8, 12, 24 hours, or maybe even a day or more. So lots of times you will see police officers standing by. They're there to maintain security, they're there to maintain the scene, and then they're there to respond with enough resources so we can address the situation properly. One of the things that, in my position that I read about online is, about how reading people's different reactions and opinions, how police respond to scenes. And the public, it's good for them to remember that the police department, police officers really don't have an option to lose. For us, it's about having the resources and the help there to make sure that we can control the scene safely and that we have enough people to handle whatever emergency comes up. So that's why lots of times when you see officers at a scene, you may see 5, 6, 10, or 12 officers, because if we have the resources to respond in force, we're going to use that, because we want to make sure that we have enough people there to control everything that's going on. It's about safety for citizens, safety for the public, and safety for the officers, because every officer wants to make sure they go home at the end of the night as well.
And I would think that you also don't want to rush into a situation
No.
that you are not fully aware
No.
of what you might encounter
No,
inside.
Absolutely, and like we're saying, time is on our side. Waiting for information is on our side. And police departments have learned over the years, over many, many years, and through progressive training and tactical training, that most situations can be resolved more effectively with the addition of time. So that's why lots of times you may see us in an area for a long period of time, because it gives people an opportunity to calm down, for stress levels to reduce, and for them to think about their actions too before we engage them. It's always better to engage somebody not in the heat of the moment. Now, having said that, obviously the police are also going to respond appropriately at any given time, and we're going to do what is necessary to keep everybody safe and to take control of the situation. But if we have the ability, and if we can afford ourselves that time to slow everything down and to handle things peacefully, we will. Absolutely.
Well, that's a good answer, because some of you guys, myself at times, think, well, what are they waiting? Why not? Well, sometimes reacting right away might escalate. And I don't think that the police department is interested in escalating. And since the time is not a factor, so they wait out. Sometimes.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I'm saying we're fortunate here in Yonkers that we have the resources in order to do that. We have a very good administration that supports us. We have very good, management of the police department, and we have the resources and the officers available that if there's a problem, we can send enough people there to not only address the problem, but to make sure that everything outside the problem stays safe too.
Good one. But now let me take this opportunity to say thank you to Commissioner Mueller and all the brass for making this possible. Allowing me to come on a boat and document what the boat does, the police officers involved. So thank you to Commissioner Mueller, to Sergeant Dean, and everyone involved that that made this happen. Thank you.
You're welcome, man. Thank you.
guys. Now I'm going to go offline. I guess you guys saw the ride. You heard some questions and answers from Captain Rooney, Sergeant Dean. Hopefully this documentary was informative to you, and then now you can make decisions based on correct information and not in what we think is correct information. Thank you, and stay tuned for more.
Not unless you wanted to ask about any of the rules of choice.
How far up the river do we go? Normally on your daily routine when you're on the water, what's the radius of the miles that you actually patrol?
The miles, I believe it's 7 miles from the George Washington Bridge to the
North?
to north of there to the Mario Cuomo Bridge.
Does the other cities on the river, do they have a boat, or are they depending on a Yonkers boat to patrol their own areas?
I believe 1 or 2 cities on the New York side have smaller boats, much more smaller, not as capable of this. In addition to the Westchester County police boats that we do a lot of joint training with and joint response with. And on the west side of the river, there are a few New Jersey agencies that have smaller boats that can help respond to certain situations.
Now, I have been in certain jobs, that a boat was required, but I didn't see Yonkers police boat. I saw the county boat. Do you know why or when does the county respond instead of Yonkers?
We can, not to cut you off, because so it really depends, obviously who's in the water, who's not in maintenance, and also, like the captain said earlier, what our positions are. Because there very well may be an incident right off the Yonkers Pier, but the county boat happens to be closer than the Yonkers boat, which may be attending to another incident down there. So we're going to send whoever's can get there first to help. And if it happens to be the county, then it's the county. If it can be us, it can be us. But the object is to get there, to get the help there as soon as possible.
So mutual aid, what the concern at that moment is to save the person as quick as possible.
100%, absolutely.
So whatever it's in water at the moment responds first.
Absolutely, 100%.
Is that right, Captain?
Safety of the citizens of the city of Yonkers and their surrounding areas is always our primary focus.
How safe is the Hudson? Into your opinion, just to create awareness for people when they decide to come with their jet skis, bring out proper equipment. Any advice to those that decide to navigate on these waters?
Well, you have to be careful. This isn't a lake. This isn't a pleasure area to operate. This is a commercial waterway. It's a tidal estuary. You have not only tidal forces, but the current of the river in play as well. It's a moving, living body of water, and you need to be cautious. You need to make sure that you have all of your proper safety gear and all of your proper elements that you need to safely operate on these waters in conjunction with the other traffic that's out here. Again, same as if you were on a city street. There's really no more I can say to that. We can look over, we've got a large barge here. We'll have tugs and tankers. The sugar factory's here. We'll have a refinery ship pulling in with raw sugar to be offloaded, as well as jet skis, pleasure craft.
I'm going to swing around so
You're
he can
good.
see that.
Just the ferry.
So he can see that ferry coming up.
Yep.
So just give me a second, guys. So then we go back to
Now we can test the rescue if you want to jump into the water. I don't know if you're crew wants to see that. You're Yonkers Point.
Did you guys just heard what Sergeant Dean said? He said we can test the safety capability and rescue capabilities if I jump in the water. I'm going to pass on that.
You know, I know you're recording, you're live now, but looking at the new construction on the riverfront from this angle, it's really something, right?
Yeah.
The new building construction.
Back to Captain Rooney. Well, Captain, the reason I was talking about the safety and make sure that when you come in, in the river, you should bring the proper equipment. Because I remember about a year ago there was a fatality involving it. Oh shit! Well, it's fun.
Well, like I said before, the river is a living thing, so you gotta deal with it.
That's it, and the water is wet. So going back, it's because there was a fatality, and I'm not sure if the safety equipment that they were using had anything to do with it. Maybe, maybe not. But it's important that, how you call these things?
Life jackets.
The life jackets. It's important that when you come in the water, in a jet ski, a boat, whatever, that you have a life jacket that it's able to support your body weight.
Absolutely. Especially today, in the modern day, the old type vests. The old type vests. This is actually a very, very good one, but they're a little bulkier, and people found them uncomfortable. It doesn't mean they're not necessary. These days, you have the auto inflation type. They're lighter, they're more comfortable, they give you the same amount of buoyancy, if not more, as this. So there's really no excuse not to have properly sized, properly fitted personal flotation devices on while you're operating. There's really, that's the end of the story on that. You have to use the proper safety equipment.
That should not even be debatable. If a piece of equipment is going to save your life, hey, don't even ask, just get it.
Listen, it's when I say they're invaluable, it really doesn't matter what it costs you if it saves your life.
Yeah, I mean, people, we want people to enjoy our natural resources, of course, but you have to be prepared and you have to know what you're doing. You can't just go into the river, never having been on a jet ski before or any personal watercraft, and then try to navigate these waters, because there is some risk associated with it. So we want people to be careful, we want people to be safe, and the best way they can protect themselves is to wear the proper equipment and to be skilled in whatever device they're operating, to know what they're doing. That's the best way to keep safe and stay out of trouble.
Captain, I think about 3 years ago, a child fell at the JFK Marina. 3 adults jumped in to save him. 2 came out, 1 died. I was there from the beginning. He was not able to be found. No one could find him until much later. I think that people really don't understand how strong the current is and how dangerous the current is. You want to emphasize on that?
Again, this is a moving body of water, and it's not like the river further upstate. Down in this area, you have multiple forces at work. The 2 biggest are the tide and the current. So it can be a very tricky piece of water if you don't understand it. As far as people being lost, we've lost aircraft that have gone down in here that I don't believe were ever found, despite the fact that the Coast Guard came up with special sonar ships. The current moves, objects get pulled in different directions, and like I said, it's a very tricky water, and because of the fact that the visibility is so low due to the moving water, it makes those conditions even more difficult.
So guys, I think we're coming to an end. Thank you to Yonkers Police Department. Thank you to the Commissioner Mueller for making this happen. Thank you to Sergeant Dean, Captain Rooney, and his staff. We appreciate, and hopefully the people of Yonkers get a better understanding of what's involved with Marine One and what you do. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ben.